Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, how we doing, everybody? It is Matt with the DPI podcast, and we've got a fresh new look this week. Hit us up in the chat, in the comments. Let us know what you think about the new lower third. We're going to be expanding some of this new look into some of the other segments as well as we get them built. But definitely wanted to get a little bit of a new flavor, a fresh feeling with the podcast. So as you can tell, lots of pictures of me from around the parks over the last few years. Definitely want to bring that flair. Also, new lower third with the subscribe information on it. Definitely, if you are not subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button. We are 112 people away from 1,000. This has been a crazy year so far, and we're looking to continue it by getting to that 1,000 mark by the summer and see where we go from there. Definitely very much appreciate all of your support and everything that you guys do to help move the channel forward. So definitely appreciative there. So like I said, new clean look. If you see anything, have any thoughts, let us know. Definitely willing to take some feedback on that. Also, with us just kind of skyrocketing this ascent we're on towards 1,000, we're hot and heavy with new subscribers, and a few of you guys make yourselves public, so I want to make sure that I give you a little bit of props for doing that because, again, like I said, we appreciate every single one of our subscribers, and we still know that a lot of you are coming in through that Happily Ever After video. That passed the 200,000 view mark last week. Over the weekend. So, yeah, it's super cool to see it. So, we'll start 5 days ago. Manuel Omana, thank you for the subscription. Very much appreciate you hanging out with us over here on the channel. And we're looking at a little bit of the timing. I may be moving some things around as we go, just to see where they fit better. I actually think I do like this up a little higher. So, Kyle England, thank you for the subscription. We're actually going to move you up here because I like it better up there. Let's see, who else did we have? That was Kyle England. Mercedes Potter, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the channel. We're going to move it this way a little bit into my head. There we go. And then Camden Sloan, thanks for the subscription. Miracle Games, thank you for subscription. And BD_NY, thank you for subscription. I probably went through that whole thing. Yeah, my mic was on and everything. Look at that. I'm becoming a professional at this. So, but definitely, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, definitely hit that subscribe button. If you want to get notified when we're going live, when we put a new video out, hit that bell as well, and it will get a notification. And it will let you know whatever's going on with the channel. We have a lot going on. We tend to keep ourselves busy, that is for sure. So lots going on. So let's touch on a couple of things. I'm not going to go over to the news screen. No Peter tonight. So definitely a shorter show. Gas 76. Thanks for joining us over there. Gaming Fun 0325 on Discord. If any of you guys want to go bother Gasps over on Discord, definitely something you can do. Lots going on. So Epic Universe had their media preview over the weekend. Lots of the Disney loyalists. I'll say, I don't even know if loyalist is even the right word, but the bloggers and the vloggers and your attention seekers and that kind of stuff were over at Universal over the weekend. And Universal laxed its photo and video policy for this weekend. So we got a ton of content. I guess we'll call these people content creators because that's what they did over the weekend. But with that being said, we did get a ton of content from Epic Universe. With that being said, I think we got a ton of reaction from the content that people saw from Epic Universe. And a lot of it was how Disney's in trouble, that Epic Universe looks awesome, and Disney's just going to fizzle out and die, I guess. We know that's not going to happen. Are there going to be cool things at Epic Universe? Yeah, there's going to be cool things at Epic Universe. I mean, have you seen the Toothless encounter yet? It's going to be awesome. But it doesn't mean to each his own. And I think that's where we have tribalized almost as a society, to where you're either a Disney fan or a Universal fan. If you're a Disney fan, you can't go to Universal. If you're a Universal fan, you can't go to Disney. Nobody cares. You're going to spend the money at both places anyway. Both places are going to do well. What does Universal gain from Epic Universe? Well, the biggest thing they gain is a Universal audience. This is the first time that they've had a character that is known outside of the studio. Mario and the Mario universe is that character for Universal now. And they are going to get guests that come to the park just for that aspect. Like Mickey Mouse brings people to Disney World and the Disney parks. Mario is going to do that to the Universal parks. You know, not everybody knows Harry Potter. Not everybody knows, How to Train Your Dragon. Not everybody wants to get into the villains part of it. But Mario is pretty universal for everything. So I think that's going to be one of those characters and one of those lands that it is going to be kind of the sought after attraction. Then I think you're going to see the Islands of Berk, and then you're going to see the villains area, and then you have, the Wizarding World, the Harry Potter area. I think you're going to have, the fans for each of those sects, but not necessarily that universal influence like you'll get in the Mario area. So definitely think that that's the biggest gain that they have. The other big gain they have is they are going to obviously increase capacity and give a better experience in the other two parks for a little while. Now, with that being said, when you look at the ticket packages, a lot of the ticket packages are like 3 or 4 day, 2-park hopper tickets for Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, and then you get a day at Epic Universe. So really check your tickets and make sure you understand what you're buying, especially over the summer and into the fall with the opening of Epic Universe. Now, Epic Universe is going to open on May the 22nd, and this past weekend signaled kind of the beginning of full-time opening for this area. So Epic Universe will now be open for something every day up until the official opening on May the 22nd. So there's going to be a lot going on, a lot coming out. Like I said, there is some cool stuff that I saw over the weekend. Am I looking for everything Epic Universe? No. But are there enough Disney people that were over there this weekend? Yeah. And a ton of those Disney people are a lot of the news creators and the content creators that I follow, because they're good at what they do in, basically breaking down what's going on at the parks. So, what is going to happen to Disney this summer? I think a lot of people don't really know. Yes, there's going to be people at the parks. Of course there's going to be people at the parks. There's probably going to be a lot of people at the parks. But initially, what is the draw to Epic Universe for locals? And where does that put the travelers that may not have the extra money to do both parks this year? And I think, when I look at, even my family situation, we've talked about Epic Universe for a couple years now, and kind of when we wanted to go to Epic Universe. And I don't think we ever thought about going to Epic Universe this year. Just because we knew that it was going to be busy, and it was going to be tough. It was going to be expensive. And what's nice is Universal kept their ticket prices about the same. But when you think about, us, we're not local. So when we go to Disney, we want to hit all 4 parks. And when we go to Universal, we're now going to hit all 3 parks. So now when you're looking at that, you're looking at 8 days potentially in Florida for a vacation if you want to do both parks and do everything at both parks. And not by, I mean, you're not going to do every ride and every show and all that kind of stuff, but doing all the parks at each resort. You're looking at 8 days now. So, and that's not taking into consideration, are you going to do a water park at Disney on the day that you get there? Are you doing anything at Disney Springs? Are you doing anything at City Walk? That's really just for the parks. So, and Epic Universe isn't going to be a one-day park for a long time, because it's going to be hard to get through everything. Epic Universe is going to be a 2-day park at least. Probably for the next year or so, year to 18 months, as people get in there and experience it, and kind of not everybody's trying to do everything at once. Think of it like Animal Kingdom. When Animal Kingdom opens a new land, and it's going to happen here in a few years again, when Animal Kingdom opens a new land, all of the other rides get packed. Because not everybody can do everything in the new land. But capacity's up in that park. So it's got to go somewhere. So Everest gets busy, and Kali River Rapids gets busy, and the Tough to Be a Bug show gets busy. Dinosaur gets busy. Well, it's going to happen again when the Encanto ride comes, and Indiana Jones comes. Pandora is going to get busy. Everest is going to be busy again. And the cycle's going to continue. So, it's one of those things that when Epic Universe opens, I think you're going to have a split. And you're going to have people that go down to Disney to go to Epic Universe. And they are going to go to Universal, and they're probably not going to go to Disney. There'll be some that do, but I don't think it's going to be everybody. And then you're going to have those people that go down to Disney that have no intention to go into Universal. So you're not going to get a lot of crossover this summer. Where in past summers, I think you got a lot of crossover. You had people that went down for a week. They did, 3-4 parks at Disney, went over to Universal, spent a couple days at Universal, and that was their vacation. Now you're tacking on a couple extra days with Epic Universe. I don't think you see that. I think you see people that pick which side they're going to be on this summer, and that's all they're going to be. And I think that's where you see kind of that change in capacity is going to be, you don't have as much crossover park to park as you used to. You know, is it going to come back? Yeah, it's going to come back. 100% it's going to come back. But for the next summer, I would say probably through spring break of next year, I think you're going to see people very much making a trip to Florida, a trip to Universal Studios, and that's the only thing that they do. So it frees up a little bit of capacity for Disney. Now, are the locals going to see this as a chance to, hey, there's not as many travelers at Disney? Yeah, I could see that, 100%. I could also see the locals saying, hell, we're going to stay the hell away from both parks because they're both going to be a zoo, and see capacity down at Disney considerably. So yeah. But that was the weekend. You know, Universal is a player when it comes to Orlando now. They've always been a player for a different demographic. But I think across the board now, you're looking at Universal definitely eating into market share of Disney, especially over the next 18 months. And it also, you know, how bad does Disney botch this construction timeline that they've got in place for the stuff that's going on at World? We're already getting, you know, word that the Monsters, Inc. area has some roadblocks in front of it, and it may be delayed already. It hasn't even started, and it might be delayed. So, yeah, I think there's a lot going on, so it's just a lot that you gotta kind of keep in mind. So let me pull up the Twitter feed here, see what I've got sitting out here. We've got a lot of D23 information. I'm going to save that for last just because I don't know if fed up is the term I want to use, but I'm really getting to a point with D23 that I'm just like, this is 100% a greedy money grab more than anything. And they're going to continue to sell this thing out because people don't know how to stop. So, all right. Big news from last week. So, March 31st, we talked about that. April 1st. Let's talk April 1st. April 1st, we got big news that for the first time since COVID, both water parks will be open at the same time. Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach will be open from May the 21st through September 7th. I have no clue how to take this, because you take Epic Universe out of the equation, and this is Disney. To me, this is Disney saying, oh, we're expecting higher capacity, so we need to open up the other water parks so that we can handle the people that are coming to the parks. And then I think about what I'm seeing on the travel agent side, and it's like, this is a really dumb move. So, but it's happening. So if you are a fan of both of the water parks, they both will be open from May the 21st through September 7th. So a little bit more on the airline resort airline check-in, however you want to say it. So we talked a little bit about it last week because when we went on the air on Monday, they basically had started the pilot at Pop Century over the weekend, over the weekend of, let's see, the 29th and 30th of April. And we saw this as a spreading like wildfire event, and we really think that's still what it is. And we got a little bit more information from one of our sources, Disney Glimpses, and it basically, what they were talking about is this company called Bags Inc. So Bags Inc., for some reason or another, lost or didn't renew the contract to be able to service the Walt Disney World Resort for luggage. So basically they were a luggage courier service that Disney used, and that's how they did the baggage aspect of the Magical Express. So Bags Inc. has signed a new contract with Disney, which allows them to service the Walt Disney World properties again. And it sounds like Bags Inc. was the first domino to fall, and then there was the falling out with Mears with the non-renewal of the airport contract, and then the creation of Mears Express, and we all know what happened kind of down that road. Well, Bags Inc.'s back on board, and then this week we found out that the airline check-in at the resorts has now spread to all of the value resorts. So Art of Animation, the Pop Century, and all of the All-Star resorts, you can now utilize the resort airline check-in for Southwest, which is a big deal. And it's for flights departing from MCO, so Orlando International. So it is spreading. So we've gone from 1 to now 5 resorts that are offering the service. And I think this is something that you're going to see scale pretty fast. They're going to look at A, how many people understand what it is, B, how many people utilize it, and then C, what is their cost to do this. I really think that this is something that does continue, because I am a firm believer that Magical Express may return by the end of the summer. I know that's a pretty bold claim, but I really feel like Magical Express is the key for Disney right now. It is the way that they kind of right the ship, for a lack of better terms, with kind of that middle and lower class Disney public. And the reason I put it like that, so let's just put it like your value resort general Disney public. Because right now, and this is something I talk to people a lot about, is if you're going to Disney and you're not staying at a moderate level resort or above, you are asking a lot of questions like, what is the cheapest way to get from the airport to the resorts? What is the cheapest way to eat at the parks? What is the cheapest way to do this? What is the cheapest way to do that? What free things are still being offered around the parks? And I think bringing back Magical Express, honestly, will grab an audience that Disney right now has lost. And even though for a family of 4, it's a couple $100 for a family of 4, but it's a couple $100. And I think the couple $100 of free service goes a lot further than what they've been offering over the last 4 years. And if they could come out and say, hey, we're going to save you a couple $100 by taking your luggage to and from the airport for you, by providing the transportation to and from the airport for you, You're going to get to the parks faster. Your luggage is going to be in your room when you get back from the parks. People want to optimize their Disney vacation, especially the people that are going to be the one and doneers. Magical Express gives Disney the ability to say, we are doing as much as we can to optimize the trip for you. We are giving you the ability to put your luggage on the conveyor belt at your home airport, and it shows up in your Disney room. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to go wait for it at baggage claim. Don't have to load it onto a bus or in an Uber. We're doing all of that for you. And you can come straight to our resort, get off our free transportation to get on another piece of free transportation, and go straight to the parks. Now you're optimizing a person's vacation. Now somebody thinks they're getting value out of it instead of spending money to be transported to do more work. People are at Disney. They want to be on vacation. They don't want to do the work of the luggage. They don't want to do the work of the figuring out the transportation, to going to the Uber checkpoint, all that kind of stuff. They just want to get off the plane and go. That's what you did for so long, and then you took it away, and people are like, really don't want to do this anymore. This kind of sucks. So, no, I really think Magical Express is going to be kind of the tipping point for a lot of people. Construction delays for Monsters Inc. land. First construction walls in the area should arrive before the end of March now. In early April, no sign of construction walls yet. Yeah, so they still have closing dates for Mama Melrose on May the 10th, Muppet Vision 3D's June the 7th, Pizza Rizzo's June the 7th. So, better believe I'll be getting a slice of Rat Pizza before it closes. A lot of places still just open that people didn't think we're going to be open. It's a delay. It's not surprising. It's Disney. What else do we got? That's a short. Disneyland Paris. The best stage show at any Disney property. Probably any theme park in the world. And I know that the How to Train Your Dragons show at Universal Studios Japan is unbelievable. I would put the Lion King Rhythm of the Pride Land show up against it at Disneyland Paris. And it's coming back. It is going to be back for the summer, which is awesome. And it kind of comes and goes. It's a stage that I think really needs a lot of maintenance, because that stage moves a lot. And there's a lot of safety things that they probably have to check as well. I mean, you think about just the Lion King show at Animal Kingdom and how much on the safety side they would have, with the trapeze bars and all of the things that need to be fireproof and all that kind of stuff. The Paris show is like 10 times that. I mean, they have got people swinging and rotating and hanging on to and bouncing off of a lot of pieces on that stage. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So, but if you are heading over to Paris, it's fantastic news. It is a hard show to find if you do not know where you're going. So, It is in the Disneyland Paris park, the Disneyland park, not over in World Adventure. And it is kind of, you have to wind your way around. So you go in and then you go over to Adventureland and you kind of go all the way around the right side of Big Thunder Mountain and just keep following that kind of like river around, because Big Thunder Mountain out there is on an island, which is really, really cool. And you follow that water all the way around and you get to the backside of the water. Yeah, it's a joke, I know. And the theater looks like a big barn, basically. And there'll be a queue outside. And you'll want to wait in that queue. You can buy tickets for it. They also have, I think it's MasterCard over there, has a deal. If you get on their website, you can find it, where you go in their city hall and you can get like limited tickets to where you don't have to wait in the queue, if you're one of their preferred card members holders over there. But yeah, definitely a show that's worth it. That, Mickey and the Magician, awesome show. Yeah, they had a couple of really, really good ones over there. You know, super excited to see what Hollywood Studios is going to come up with the Villain show and the new iteration of The Little Mermaid. All right, more news. Roosevelt's debuts at Walt Disney World. This has been one of those odd couples for a long time, because Disney has done a lot with Roosevelt's over the last few years. But they haven't had anything in the parks. And, you know, a buddy and I were talking about it earlier. And I really, you know, he felt like Roosevelt's was at Disney Springs last year. And I was like, you know, I think you're right. But, you know, I went back and started doing some research and I couldn't find anything on it. Now, Roosevelt's has been on Shop Disney for a while now. And Roosevelt's has done collaborations with Disney since before the 50th anniversary. So we're talking 3 years now. 4 years. 5 years. Wow. Wow. 71. Yeah. 21 would have been the 50th. Golly. 4 years now. Yeah, they did a 50th collection. I know a couple of years ago they had a D23 shirt that was out. Yeah, so they've done a lot, but this is the first time that you can actually buy Roosevelt's in the parks. If you are not familiar with Roosevelt's, it's like the last name of the president without the vowels. So RSVLTS. They make a lot of clothing, a lot of golf stuff. But really what has kind of set them apart is quality of button-downs and these performance hoodies. So I've got a Roosevelt's hoodie on right now. And I would say it's like a half-weight hoodie. So, Disneyland, fantastic. Unbelievable to wear out Disneyland. Their button-downs, they use this material that's called Nuflex, KNU Flex. And it is extremely breathable. Wears very nice at the parks. I've got 5 button-downs now, 4 hoodies, and I mean all perfect park apparel. So if you're going to the parks and you need some clothes and you're willing to spend a little bit, because the stuff is kind of pricey, the button-downs, the short sleeve button-downs are around $70. In the parks they're going to be $75. The hoodies, the performance hoodies like this, are normally $82, so I would imagine they're going to be about $90 if they come to the parks. So definitely going to spend a little coin on it, but you are going to get all kinds of different franchises. So in the shirts that they put in, so this was at River Country in Animal Kingdom, Riverside Depot at Animal Kingdom. They had a Tiki Room, a Mickey shirt, a Star Wars shirt, and a Haunted Mansion shirt. All of them to me looked like new designs. Some people online are saying that the Star Wars design is a remake of a design from a few years ago. I don't remember it. So, but yeah, big deal. Roosevelt's and Disney is going to be a big deal. I think you're going to see some park-only collabs. I think you're going to see some very limited run stuff that ends up in the parks. But right now you can find the stuff at Animal Kingdom, and it's going to be at World of Disney and Destyled at Disney Springs. So definitely places you want to go. And then you can always go to the Roosevelt's website. They aren't going to have these shirts on the Roosevelt's website, but they just released another set of another Disney line in line with the Masters Golf event that's happening this weekend, which is really awesome. And then, and then they've just got a bunch of Disney stuff on there that they've already done. Stuff tends to sell out relatively fast, but on the popular items, they tend to restock at some point, or they'll do a re-release at some point. So just download the app, favorite the shirts that you want to see when they return, and you'll get an email when it comes back. Kind of what it is. All right, 6 minutes. I don't know that that's going to be enough to talk about D23, but we're gonna get into it. So D23, Destination D23. Let's not mix it up. D23 is the big event that happens in Anaheim, which is really, really cool. Destination D23 is kind of the redheaded stepchild that happens at Walt Disney World on the off years. That is, whatever Disney wants to make it that year. This year, I'm going to come out and say it. This year is going to suck. And I'm sorry for the people that are like, oh, we're super excited for D23. What are they honestly going to unveil this year? You've got the building plan basically for every park for the next 7 years. What blue sky thing are they going to blow smoke up you and then cancel before you know it's even not a thing? So, D23 this year, Destination D23, a journey around the worlds of Disney will take place August 29th to 31st at Walt Disney World. And tickets go on sale in a week, April 14th at 1 p.m. You have to be a gold member for the pre-sale, and they'll sell out. They'll sell out quick, and yeah, it's a thing. So, what gets me? So they're saying that they're doing it's at Coronado Springs this year. So this is the first thing that kind of threw me off about the event. And to me, having it at Coronado Springs says, we just don't care this year. They're trying to spin it off as it's a larger venue with increased capacity. If they would have handled, or if they would handle the Contemporary correctly, they'd have plenty of capacity. But they don't, so it's always a limited event. So they're saying a larger venue, increased capacity. D23 tickets will go on sale for D23 Gold members on April 14th, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern. General admission tickets are $300. Preferred tickets are $549, and premier seating tickets are $800. Available on a first-come, first-served basis. These tickets will include dedicated queues for reserved seating areas. D23 Gold members may reserve a ticket for themselves and one guest for general, preferred, or premier seating. Tickets will be available on D23.com. All ticketed D23 event guests will receive following access to the following D23 exclusive experiences. Commemorative gifts, including a lug bag, event exclusive pin, lanyard, credential, and shopping bag created exclusively for the event. Walt Disney Archives exhibit, photo opportunities, and D23 shopping spree starting Friday, August 29th. Guaranteed seat to all Destination D23 2025 panels and presentations on August 30th and 31st. Access to D23 Kuzcotopia Night at Typhoon Lagoon on Saturday, August 30th. And more information will be announced. So you're going to get... So, okay, let's go 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Peter with Princesses of the Mouse, Disney Travel, and I went to Destination D23 when it was at the Contemporary. So, lug bag, awesome. What was in the lug bag? I mean, here's my lug bag. I use it all the time. It's awesome. It's one of the best backpacks I've ever owned. It's my Lorcana bag now. Some of the stuff that was in the bag, there was a pack of first chapter Lorcana cards in it. I think I saw more people throw the Lorcana cards away than keep them, which now pains me greatly. But back then, I didn't know exactly what they were. What else was in here? There were pins. There were patches. There were... I mean, there was a lot in the bag. I mean, the bag was pretty full of stuff. The shopping was cool. The shopping... the shopping was pretty worth it. The panels were cool. We didn't know what the nighttime event was going to be until the day of. And we found out that the nighttime event was going to be an event at Epcot, which they've got that huge party pavilion. It's kind of back between Canada and the UK. They had that all decked out for D23. They did the return of the Figment meet and greet in there, which was cool. So that was the first time that people got to see the new Figment meet and greet and see the new Figment outside of the event itself. We got exclusive access to Journey of Water. You guys, if you've been part of the channel for the last couple of years, you have seen some of the footage from that. Peter and I taped our walkthrough with at Journey of Water at Epcot. And then what the After Hours event had was they had open access to a bunch of rides. So Shannon, my wife, and I did the After Hours event. Got in. When we got in, we weren't really far in the line. But when we got in, they had basically already capped off the meet and greet with Figment. You could get the freebies, the free drinks, and Mickey ice cream and all that kind of stuff. But it was just kind of overcrowded. And then they had Guardians open, but at that point we looked at each other and we were like, do we really want to stay, or do we just want to get on the Skyliner and go back to Pop and get some sleep? And we ended up just getting on the Skyliner before the Skyliner shut down to get out of the park. Because if you stayed for the After Hours event, they didn't necessarily have buses for you. So you were Ubering back, or, you know, if you had a boardwalk area hotel, you were walking. But yeah, it was just one of those things. Panels, we talked about the parks panels. Really, the big thing that was announced during our parks panel was the test track redo. And that's coming to fruition now this summer. We're going to have test track 3.0 is going to be done. They had talked about the Central Americas, but it was still kind of a blue sky idea. Yeah, there just wasn't a whole lot of wow factor to the parks panel there. You didn't have a lot of actual dates. You know, we got the, hey, there might be an Avengers ride coming to Disneyland. This is kind of what we're thinking it could look like, but, you know, Anaheim got much better parks panel. I mean, obviously, they're going to do a much better parks panel. They set it up for 17,000 people to be able to see it. You know, you're talking, even with expanded capacity, what's it going to be? 4,500 at Coronado, if that. I think it was less than 4,000 at the Contemporary. You're not going to release big news to a small crowd. If they were going to release something big, they'd do it in a bigger setting. They're not going to do it at Destination D23. They won't. It is what it is. So, yeah. But yeah, if you want to go, I mean, you get a night at Typhoon Lagoon, the Cuscatopia night. I mean, see Pacha, Kronk, Yzma. Do some water slides. Spend $300 to do it. It's kind of whatever you want to do. So, but yeah, D23, if you are wanting to go, tickets go on sale next week. Next Monday, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific. Eat your heart out. That being said, I think I'm done tonight. D23 was released. That information was released today. Let me see if there's anything else that has popped up since then. You know, I'm waiting to hear that the Bon Voyage breakfast has come back. Until then, no other news matters. That's what I'm saying. Until I get Flynn Rider, nothing else matters. All right. Nope, nothing new. If you guys are seeing anything that I'm not, let me know. Past that, thanks for joining us tonight. Have a good week. Stay warm. It's cold up here. We're going to have a freeze warning overnight. It's April. Stop it. But we'll talk to you next Monday. Hopefully Peter with Princess and the Mouse Disney Travel joins us, so we can talk a little bit about his jaunt out to the West Coast and just kind of get caught up. So, again, thank you guys all for watching. You guys have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you next Monday. Bye now. What's going on, everybody? We debuted the new, background, I guess, on the channel. Let us know what you thought. No guess, just me. If you're looking for us on social media, you can find us in a lot of different places. The easiest is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast for the show page, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel side. If you're looking for us on the Twitter X machine, it's at Disney Insights. That's where we do most of our engagement. Also have YouTube, Instagram. We just changed the Instagram. Thank you guys all for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, following, everything that you do to support the channel. You guys have a good week, and we will talk to you next Monday.